Hi, everybody. Happy Monday night. I am just going to check my Facebook page, make sure I'm up here. Looks like I am. I'm going to wait for a few of you to get on. It is Monday, November 21st, 2022. Thanksgiving week. Wow, I can't believe it's Thanksgiving week already. I have some beautiful twisted ribbon cards that we're going to make tonight, and I posted measurements for the first card if you want to create it along with me. I'm going to put it on my face view. There. Let's move this down just a little bit. You can see me better. It's Monday, November 21st, 2022. I'm Verna Mullen from StampinNotes, and welcome to Monday, Simply Stampin' in the Meadow. And I have 3 beautiful cards to share with you tonight, featuring the twisted ribbon technique. And I have, we're going to use the Christmas Banners bundle. Hey, Chris. Wow, awesome. You made it on time. That's wonderful. I know. Sometimes I'm not very on time with things, and actually last week I was late getting on, but I'm on time this week. This week I decided I better check all of the technique stuff, all of the streaming stuff before I try to go live, because last week I hit a glitch and then I had to dismantle the stuff I use for Streamlabs and set up stuff for just using going straight through the regular Facebook post. Anne, hi, Mom. Hope you've had a good day today, you ladies. I got my turkey out today to start thawing, and I hope it's thawed. I'm going to stick it in the fridge tonight. I hope it's thawed by, I want to do the meats Wednesday. I have some little darlings I'm watching Thursday morning while their parents are in the turkey trot race in Hornell. So I'm going to try and get my baking and cooking done Thursday morning. So twisted ribbon technique. Yes, I've never done it. And I saw Get Crafty with Sally. I saw a video of her doing it, and it's just so much fun, and you're going to love it. So I posted measurements. If you want to do the first card, work along with me doing the first card tonight. Also, I have the free project tutorial. It's a PDF, and I'll put that link in the posts on YouTube and on my Facebook page, so you can hop over to my blog and download that if you're interested in that. If you place an order with me this week before Sunday at midnight using the host code, and I'll show you that in a minute, a $35 order or more before tax and shipping, I'll send you this class, the kits to make 6 cards, 2 each of the 3 different cards I'm doing tonight. Comment and share, and you'll be put into a drawing for the little red rhinestones. They're right here. They're just wonderful for this time of year. And last week's winner was Margaret Bourgoin. Margaret, thank you for commenting and sharing. Okay, I'm going to put my view down to our cards, our project, and we are not, why is it not connecting? Okay, let's see, there we go. Okay, so here is the host code to use if you want to place an order with me this week. And Margaret, you are the winner from last week. And so this is the twisted ribbon technique. Isn't that pretty? And it's not hard to do. And we've got another card here we're going to do. And then this one has a rustic look to it. And it's a little bit different. So let's get going. Let's get started. And I'm starting with a piece of, oh, first of all, I better show you the set. I'm using the Christmas banner set. I really love this set. I love the banners. I love the greenery and the dies. Here's the dies. They have these gorgeous banners. Let me take this out of here so you don't get the glare. Banner dies in it and all kinds of little greenery dies. There's 14 dies in this set, so it's a good deal. And of course, you save 10% if you get the bundle. So, if you get the kits, everything will be die cut for you, pre-cut for you, except any dies with a Christmas bundle, you can cut those, but any dies that I use that are not included in that bundle, then um, I'll be die cutting them for you and sending them. Okay, so we're going to start with our garden green card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And again, if you want to, I will have a link for the free project sheet PDF. And then we have a piece of real red. I think this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And we have a piece of garden green that's been embossed, and this is 4.25 by 5 by 4.25. Hey, Steve. Oh, my brother's on here. Hello. He's my brother from Tennessee. He's up visiting right now. I miss him. I wish he didn't live so far away. Okay, so you do not have to emboss this layer here. This layer is going to sit on this, and then these layers are going to go on the card like that. But I embossed this with the Wintry embossing folder. There's a set of 2 of these, and the set one is evergreen pattern. Okay. And one is, and you'll see that it doesn't fit all the way over this. So I embossed this part first, and then I just put this in on the edge that wasn't embossed to emboss that. But this is going to be covered. There's a little line here, and that will be covered. So it didn't really matter, and I wanted the evergreen look. All right, so I'm going to take my Tombow glue, and I just have it. This is a regular green glue. Can't talk. And I'm going to just use it to adhere this. Oh, we got a little tear there. I don't think it'll show when it's glued down. I like to use the liquid glue on embossed pieces because there's so much texture up and down raised parts of the cardstock. And we're going to center on our real red piece. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. Boy, we got quite a bit of snow yesterday. We got like 7 inches of snow. We didn't go to church because it was like a blizzard. And I just shown pictures of robins in our yard the day before, and the grass was green. And so now it is covered with snow. And I actually got my bird feeders out. I can't in the summer because we have friendly bears around, and they would just be at the bird feeder. It would be senseless to put it out. But in the wintertime, when they're supposed to be sleeping, I can. Hopefully they are hibernating. All right, so this is going to go, these layers are going to go on the front of our card base, just like this. I'm going to hold it there a minute so it grabs it. Comment and say hi. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you're ready, if you've started baking for Thanksgiving. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. we're gonna get our ribbon twist base ready, okay? And this is 2 by, I believe, 5 1/4. But again, that will be in the directions. All right. And I'm going to bring in a piece of our grid paper. This is the grid paper that goes with the Stamparatus. So it's smaller piece and it's got centimeters on the back. And then one side is inches. So I'm going to lay this down right along one of these lines. I'm laying it right along this line here. And I'm going to start marking along the side every 3/4 of an inch. So I've got my pencil. This isn't going to show. So there's 3/4. I'm going to go up here, another 3/4. So this would be 3/4, 2 1/2, 3 1/4, 4. I'm just going up 3/4 of an inch all along that. All right. And then I'm going to mark the opposite side just the same. You can see it's right across it, and I'm just going down 3/4 of an inch. Okay. So can you guys see that? It's marked along the side there. So now I'm going to take this away. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat because no adhesive will not stick to this. Any kind of adhesive will not stick to it. And this might be a little bit messy. Okay, and if you're doing this at home, I'll wait a few minutes till you get your paper marked. And again, you can get this class for free if you place an order of $35 or more in my online store before Sunday at midnight, and you use this host code here. And then I will send 2 of each of these for each card. So you'll have 6 card kits to make these. And if you don't have the candy canes bundle, you could use a different bundle. If your order's $50 or more, I'll send you a packet of the real red rhinestones with that. All right, so my little cardstock is all marked. So we're going to start laying our pieces across. And I have taken this other piece here. So they're going to go vertically, or sorry, diagonally like this across. All right. And I'm putting my darker piece in the background. And the paper I'm using is from Painted Christmas. It's kind of country, real rustic with a lot of greens and pine cones. It was in the catalog last year. And so we're going to start right here. Can you see I'm lining up between these dots here? I'm mainly putting glue or adhesive on the center of this. I'm not putting glue on the ends because they're going to be trimmed off. Okay, and there's one there. Now I'm using just the dark. You need 2 different patterns, and I'm starting with my darkest pattern first. I need to put one from here to there. And again, a lot of this will be cut off. So just like that. So all of this is going to be cut off. We'll trim it in a minute. I have my next piece here. I'm putting glue in the center of it. I'm leaving a ½ inch, about a ½ inch on each end. And there we go. And one more. Okay, so it looks like that. And I'm just lifting this up and you can see the glue on there. I'm just going to bring in a wipe and wipe that off. And if there's a lot of glue on this, I'm going to gently wipe it because I'm going to bring my scissors in. These are older scissors, so I don't care if they get glue on them. I will wash them. And I'm just going to trim these off where they're sticking out. Okay, and I'm going to turn it over again. And I'm going to go right along that edge. All right, and I've got a little bit I've got to get there. All right, so this is what we have now. I've got a little bit there I want to grab. Okay. Get these little pieces out of the way here. There's just a little sticking out there when I get. Okay. Now we're going to add the other piece. And this is going to be, you need 4 of these that are contrasting, and these are 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay. So I'm going to start from, I'm looking at this corner going down to here, like that. That's going to lay on there like that. And again, I'm just putting the adhesive in the middle part of the paper. So I'm going to match this edge and here. Like that. Hey, Margaret. We're glad you found us. And thank you for sharing. And Margaret, you won the prize last week for sharing and commenting. And thank you so much. Okay, so there's our last one. There's our ribbon pattern. Isn't that cool? Oh, wait. You know what? We should put one down here. So it's going to be like that. Actually, I think I need it more up here. So we're starting at that corner and we're going to there. And some of that, a lot of that will be cut off. All right. And I'm going to wipe this. And we'll cut these edges off. And again, these are older scissors. Don't use your good scissors for this. Because you're going to get glue on them. And we'll trim these. Comment and say hi. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you've started baking yet or getting ready for Thanksgiving. Okay, we'll get all these little sticky pieces out of here. maybe they're sticking to me. I'm losing them. It's the wintry one, Chris, that it's in the back of the annual catalog. And it's on the second on the lower right. I remember seeing it, and there's two little smaller embossing folders in there. There's one with the evergreen leaves, which is this one here, and there's one with snowflakes on it. So here's our piece. Isn't that pretty? And I have a piece that's just a little bit wider of real red, and we're going to adhere it to that. This needs to be trimmed just a tad. We're using that good old Tombow glue. I just have it in a different bottle because I like the fine tip. I think it goes farther and doesn't get as plugged. All right, so we've got that on there. And you can see this is sticking up a little bit, so I'm going to come in again with scissors and trim this off here. Okay. I'm going to just wipe my scissors off. All right. So we're going to add this to the front of our card base, what we've already got. I'm trying to get glue off my fingers here. It is fun, Anne. And there's all different things you can do with it. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back in, and I'm going to put this over where I had the line from my embossing, and this will line up just like that. I'm doing it a little bit different than the other card that I did to show you. And we'll hold that. I'll look at it and see if it's straight. Okay, that looks straight. All right, now let's do our banner. So I'm bringing in the Stamparatus because this is a long banner, and the Stamparatus is great because you can re-ink and re-stamp if you don't get enough ink on it. No baking for you yet. I know it is a little early, but some people bake, and then freeze it. I should wipe that red ink off. I'm gonna grab another wipe, you guys. Okay, so let's ink this up. I'm using real red. And you'll see I need to redo that a little bit. So I can just take my ink on there and re-ink that. And then stamp it again. And it's in the same position. This is a great tool. Okay. So there's my banner. And then I'm going to take the banner die that's just like this. I'll pull it out and show you. I just want to wipe this off. Yeah, you can use up a lot of designer series paper with these, and we're going to do some different patterns with it too. A couple different ways to use it. All right, so the die. What did I do with the dies? And I've already got one cut, but I wanted to show you. So here's the dies, and this just lays over it like this, and then I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right, and so here's the banner. Now, when you're stamping this banner, make sure you want the shorter end here if you're going to stamp Christmas here, because it barely fits on this side. Just saying, because I did it the other way. So I'm going to use Season's Greetings, I guess, but no, let's use Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right. And these little sentiments are in the Christmas banner stamp set. And we'll do Merry. And then Christmas. I'm going to set that upside down and pick it up. There we go. And then Christmas right there. This just reminds me of ribbon candy. The technique and the banners remind me of ribbon candy. Does anyone still like ribbon candy? That is a really old-fashioned candy. Okay, so we're bringing, whoops, that's the one that's done, not that one. We're bringing this in, and let's put some dimensionals on this. I know I brought them over here. Which little card pack are they in? I guess I'll grab them again. One little thing of them. On your wish list, yeah. It is a really nice bundle. Okay, and I love there's a greenery die in it that I just love, the one that's the pine one. I'm going to use it on the next two cards. So we put our dimensionals on there, and dimensionals just kind of make everything pop up a little bit. I'm taking my take your pick tool, and I'm just taking the backs off. Okay. So we'll put Merry Christmas on here, just like that. And then I'm going to take, I did a green bow on this one. I think on the other one I did a green bow. I think I'll do a red bow. And this is that ribbon pack that comes with the green and the red. And this is a really nice ribbon. It's easy to work with, and it looks nice, has a good quality to it. And maybe we want it this way. We'll get a couple glue dots. You like it, Margaret? Yeah, it kind of has an old-fashioned look to it, and I love it. Reminds me of Christmases gone by, years gone by. There's our ribbon, and now we need some little gems. And I'm using those red rhinestones. Let's see. Let's put one up here. One there. Maybe one there. And then we would do the inside. I'm not going to do the inside tonight just to move along, but isn't that a pretty card? This is the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper. I'm using it for all of the cards tonight. So this one, the panel's on the left, and here it is on the right. So you could do this one either way. And then in the free project tutorial, I have examples of how to mark the card and showing you how to place the pieces of Designer Series paper. Thank you so much, ladies. Okay, the second card I think is my favorite. So we're going to start with a piece of thick basic white cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And so for this one, I use the contour scalloped dies. I use this very large die here. And we're going to cut this in half. And we want it to be, I wrote on the back, 2 5/8 inch wide to accommodate our twisted ribbon strip that we're going to make. So I'm bringing in my trimmer, and you don't have to be exact on this. This is about, I'm going to cut it right here. Probably half would be more like that. All right, we're going to cut that right in half. My hands are so dry, it's hard to pick paper up. All right, so we want it 2 5/8 inches wide. Let's see if that's about. And what I'm going to do is just bring in my little panel and lay it on there and see if that's about how wide I want it. Okay. Yep, that's about it. All right, so you can see, you will be able to see this little break on the ends, but it's not enough really to, it doesn't bother me. I don't think it's that noticeable. Okay. Come on. Butterfingers. All right, so I'm just matching it up like that. Let's see if this is right. Yep. Okay. So we've got that. And then I'm going to set this aside a minute. All right, so our panel for this, well, let's put the Designer Series paper on the front first. You need a piece, it's 5 1/4 by 4, and yes, this is Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, and I'm using this softer colored side here. Again, I'm just using our Tombow glue. I'm going to center it on the front. Just like that. Okay, now let's bring our panel back in here. Now, I'm using ribbon for one of the layers, and this is the soft succulent shimmer ribbon. I love this. It's so beautiful. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. Yes, we did luck out on not getting all that snow, that's for sure. All right, because I'm using ribbon, um, I use tear and tape on here, and I left the top on. I'm going to take the top off. So, and I wove it around to the back or let it go around to the back because it'll help hold your ribbon on the back too. Okay. So this ribbon is 1/2 inch wide. So these strips are going to be 1/2 inch wide, not 3/4. Um, and this card is a little bit different that way. So I'm gonna take your pick tool and just unpeel these. And this is another reason I'm using the silicone mat because when I lay that down, it's not going to stick to it, even though I've peeled the front off it. Okay. So I'm going to take one of my pieces. These are 3.5 inches long. And I'm going to lay it right on there. I've already marked this. You can see the little marks at every 1/2 inch. Okay. And I am just going to pull that tightly around so it sticks on that tape. Just like that. All right, so we've got 2 layers on. All right, so let's peel this one. And then the next one. Yeah, it is a good way to use up ribbon. And it makes it look elegant too, the ribbon. Okay, and we're going to wrap that right around like that. And then we're going to take this off. And again, the directions for this are in the PDF, and it takes me about 1/2 an hour afterwards to get things loaded so you can access them. And we're going to lay this, whoops, right like that. Wrap that around there. And we have to put a piece on the bottom here. And some of this we're actually going to be cutting off, but since I'm not sure what yet, we're going to go ahead and do this. And I'm just gonna, well, I guess I won't till I cut it off. I'm gonna lay that like that. All right, so actually I should probably put a piece up here too. And our tear and tape, if you haven't used it, this is like one of our strongest adhesives. So we need to go from there to there. All right. Okay, and I can lay that on that silicone mat and it won't stick. All right. So I'm not too worried about some of this up here is going to be cut off. You'll see in a minute. And doesn't have glue, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this with my good scissors. Okay. And we'll trim that off so that won't show and look bad. And this will be trimmed off too. Actually, maybe I didn't even have to put it on there, but we'll see. And I'm making a mess. Let's turn it this way. Okay. So now we're going to put on our, I'm using glimmer paper for the other layer. And this was unorderable, but I'm guessing that you can order it now. It came in Evening Evergreen, very vanilla, and gold. It's really pretty. So we're going to go from there to there. And you might have to hold this just a little longer. To let it set and grab those fibers of the paper and the ribbon. I'm going from this corner up here to this corner right there. Thank you, Margaret. Okay, and then whoops, we're bleeding a little bit there. And actually, you want to really press where the cardstock is for it to adhere there. It will take it longer to adhere to the ribbon. And one more. We're going from this corner to this corner. Okay, so let's pick this up. This is what the back looks like. I'm going to trim off these pieces here, and I should use my other scissors in case I get hit glue. And you want to watch where that ribbon's sticking out on the edges too. Oops. There's a bunch of glue. Yeah, I would love to see what you make this week with this technique. Inking Joy, I have Facebook page, Inking Joy Stampers is for anyone to post what they're doing in. And it's called Inking Joy Stampers. And I'd love to have you post this week and see what you've done with this technique. So isn't that beautiful? Isn't that pretty? So there's that. All right, let's get rid of all these little pieces. Gotta grab my garbage can. All right, so we're gonna remember we made this, we're gonna bring this back in. And this is gonna be a little longer than that. So I'm going to trim off probably 1/4 of an inch. And trim off a little bit on the bottom and a little bit on the top. And you don't have to have it exactly fit. One thing, if you're going to trim it off, you're push down really hard when you go to trim it. And you want to make sure you've got a good sharp blade to do it. So I've got that little bit showing there, which I don't really want, so I'll probably trim that just a little more. I'm going to try cutting this, which probably isn't a good idea. All right. So I'm gonna all right, so that needs to be trimmed just a little more. I'm gonna trim it right about there. Okay. And got paper in my trimmer, and then I'm gonna come back in and trim this off with my scissors, and it's ribbon. We don't want that sticking up all over there. All right, so I'm just folding this down, and then what I'm going to do is put glue on the end there to hold that. We're going to bring this back in, and that fits nicely on there now. So I'm coming back in with my liquid glue. And I'm going to run it down the middle here too, where the cardstock is. And we're going to put it right down like that. I'm just going to press that a minute. Oh yeah, I'd love to see what you guys post, Margaret. Yeah. They're fun to make. They're a little messy with the gluing, but they're fun. Okay, just wiping my scissors off. All right, so we're gonna bring our card front back in. I'm gonna just set this on here. I'm not gonna glue this down yet because I have another, I want to get our sentiment on there. So I've already stamped this, and I showed you how I did it with a Stamparatus, and you want to use that with these banners. And I'm not going to use this whole banner. I just want to use, cut out these 2 panels here because I want to place them along my strips. You'll see what I mean. I'm trying not to cut off. So I want one here. I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals. And we'll put the other one below that. Like this, okay? All right, so let's stamp that, and let's do Merry Christmas, and we'll do Evening Evergreen ink. You could do Season's Greetings, Merry, and then Christmas. Yes, the day after Thanksgiving. We all need to relax the day after. I always feel like it's been a huge undertaking. I'm sure you ladies feel the same way. All right, so I'm gonna get these on here. Let's see. I think I'll put them, well, I think I'll put them down here probably. And I'll bring back those dimensionals. Now, if you don't want to cover up the ribbon, you could put it somewhere else on your card. So we got Merry Christmas. Well, that's nice, Margaret. Mama's doing coconut cream pies. Everybody loves it. And then my daughter-in-law, Amanda, does pumpkin roll that's just out of this world. And I might do a honey apple pie. There's no sugar in it, just the honey. And I can tolerate that. Okay, so there's our Merry Christmas panel. It's going to go here. But first we're going to tuck some greens in there. And these greens are die cut with one of the dies in the Christmas banners die set. We're going to make it look like a little partial wreath sticking out here. And so I'm going to actually glue this on and not put a lot of glue on this side. So I want to stick those greens in there. I'll do it quickly. And this just fits nicely from here to here. We'll stick our greens in there and the glue. And just lifting, whoops, that up a little bit. Stick a little glue on that. Let's put this one in here. And this looks like it needs to come over actually. We'll slide this over just a little bit. There we go. All right, and I'm also going to put some of the gold holly leaves. These are really pretty. And you just glue them on, or you can use, actually, I'm going to use a glue dot because they'll stick faster. If I can find my glue dots. Oh, here they are. And I think we only need one per leaf. And we'll just tuck that under there. And pick that up. And let's add some red rhinestones for our little holly berries. We'll add 3. 2. Another one out here. There we go. And we need some ribbon. So I'm using the vanilla and gold ribbon. Okay. Now I think we put it maybe like that. So we want our tail shorter. So my friend Jerry, who was at our Stampin' in the Valley, my scissors were dull, and Jerry said, well, you know how to sharpen them, don't you? And I was like, no. I mean, other than like having them sharpened by someone. So Jerry had very fine sandpaper, and we just took the scissors and went like this and cut it, I would say like 10 times, and it sharpened them right up. So I've got to pick some up. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but like that's a great thing to know. When your scissors get sharp, you can just use fine sandpaper, and you can use it for your punches also. You know how your punches get kind of dull? Well, somewhere I lost my glue dot there. I'm probably wearing it. I know, I love this. Oh, it's on the end of my take your pick tool. I love this ribbon too. I think it's out of stock right now, but it will be back. Okay, and that's not staying down there. Okay, so there is the card, but I've got to put another glue dot there. Does anybody have this? Margaret, you have the Christmas banner set? I really like it. Okay. So there it is. And it'd be fun to make a wreath out of these. I was just thinking that. Pretty card. And I will move on. I won't do the inside, so we'll go to the next card. You do have it, yeah. Okay, so the next card has a bit more of a rustic look. And I'm going to show you. Again, we're using Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, and this is that card. I'm going to show you how I did it. And I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to use crumb cake instead of soft suede for the base of it. Wanted to try something a little bit different. And I'm going to just burnish this. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then we'll set that aside a minute. So my panel, and this panel is a little wider. It might be a little longer than the other first ones. And the size is in the project sheet. I think let's try it in soft suede and see what it looks like. So we've got our different designer series pieces. I'm grabbing them here. We've got the pine cones and we've got the evergreen leaves. And these are back to 3/4 of an inch wide. All right. So these are marked every 3/4 of an inch. On the last card, on this one, where these strips are 1/2 an inch wide, the markings were every 1/2 inch on here. So you want to keep that in mind when you're doing this. However wide your strips are, you're going to use that width for your markings up the side of the card. All right, so let's start with, let's put our green in the back, on the back, and need our glue, our silicone mat. And yeah, I'd like to try this with some different designer series papers. But I wanted to stick to one for tonight. We'll get these on here. I want to hide that dot right there. Move that down. Well, it's pretty well stuck. I can erase it. And we need one more. Like that. And grab a wipe and wipe that off. And while that's drying, we'll turn this over and trim it. Again, using older scissors that we don't care if they get glue on them. Okay, so there's that. Get these out of here. And I gotta wipe my scissors off. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you and birthday cards. Exactly. Could use it for anything. Okay, and now we're gonna go the other way. So we want, let's see. This is gonna go there. Let me place this one first and then all right, so we've got our pine cones. And if you're using something that has a pattern, you want to make sure they're all going the same direction. You also want to be aware of it when you're cutting it. Oops. That's going to go down like that. Let's wipe this off again. Okay. There, isn't that pretty? So there's our zigzaggy pine cones and evergreens. We'll get these papers picked up. And in the garbage. Okay, so this needs to be glued down a little bit. Now we're gonna add this to a base that is garden green. We're gonna center it right on there. Just like that. Okay. All right, so with this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it diagonally from this point to this point. I tried one this afternoon cutting it separately, this panel first and then the back panel separate, so it wasn't so thick, but it didn't cut it. I ended up moving it around and I didn't think it was positioned the way it should be if it was on the panel when I cut it. So, because you want these, when it's cut, you want these to line up across from each other. I think I'm going to cut it this way. So ideally, it should be drier when you're cutting it, but we're going to go for it. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line this point up here, this point down here like that. And I'm just going to take my scoring blade and kind of push into that, kind of making a dent in there. Okay, and then I'm going to take my cutting blade. Hey, Rosalie. I take my cutting blade and I'm going to go really fast and back through it. Okay, and you can see it's still hanging on a little bit, but there, isn't that cool? So we got that cut okay in half. So let's bring our card base back in and we're going to put this is a teeny bit wide. Okay, so I'm going to trim it down. You know what? I trimmed the other one down a little bit and I did not trim those. So let's, what I'm going to do is trim these on this end. Just a tad. Actually, I'm going to put it back together like that. And ideally, what you should do is trim it before you get it on your base, which is what I did before. Oh, so let me just take a smidge off that end and a smidge off this end. So it will not have this green along the end there. That's okay. Whoops. Paper in there. All right, I'm going to go this way. There we go. And I'll trim that off. It's because it's wet. Okay, and I'm just going to trim that down there like that. So this is okay because we've got our green along the two long sides. Now let's put this back up here. And that fits on there. Okay, it's hanging off here a little bit and I'll just trim that off. So let's lay these on our card base. And you're going to go all the way to the top, over. So what I think I'll do is I'll go in and before I upload that PDF, I would just want to change that measurement a little bit for you. So it's not quite as long and hanging over the end like that. All right, so that gives a really cool pattern on there. I'm going to turn this over. I'm just going to clip this right here. I'm going to clip this. Okay. And I've already, I have 3 different banner colors. I couldn't decide what to do. So we've got white, kind of like that. I've got soft seafoam, I don't like as well. And I've got crumb cake. And I think I'll go with the crumb cake on there. And I'm going to stamp that. Again, I'm using Merry Christmas just because so we want the shorter one here, just because it's getting kind of late. And I'm using soft suede ink. We'll do Merry Christmas. Okay. And this has kind of a rustic feel to it. Cabinish. Cabin. Christmas at the cabin. And we need our little evergreen sprigs. We'll put one up here, right about there. And we'll put one down on the other end. We need some stickum right here. So move it down just a little bit. Oops. And we'll add dimensionals. And again, you can get these, this class free with a $35 order or more in my online store. You'll get the kits to make 6 cards. So we need this over just a little bit like that. And then I'm using, I had the amber gems out. I've got a little bit of baker's twine. I'll grab that. And these are the amber gems that came with the leaves. They're in the July to December catalog, mini catalog. There's a new catalog. Have you ladies on here that are demonstrators, have you been online to look at the goodies in the new spring catalog. Oh my goodness. So exciting. Can't wait to share some of that with you. And if you don't have a catalog and you would like one, let me know. We'll do a double strand here with our linen thread. And we need a glue dot. Oh, Rosalie, okay, Margaret, I'll send that with your club. Rosalie, Zach and Jess are running the turkey trot, and I'm watching the kiddos for them Thursday morning. So I'm doing all my baking Wednesday. Okay. All right. So if you're on YouTube and you've watched this, a thumbs up and you enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And I will upload the free PDF for everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this. I had fun sharing it with you, and I hope you have a great night and a happy Thanksgiving. Okay, take care.